If I could travel back in time and sit down with my 30-year-old self, there's one thing I would say that would change everything. Not the stock tips, not the career advice, not even the relationships I should have cherished more. It's something so simple, yet so profound, that it took me 30 years to truly understand. And if you're listening to this right now, whether you're 30, 50, or 70, what I'm about to share might just transform how you see the rest of your life. I remember being 30 like it was yesterday. The world felt like it was moving at lightning speed, and I was desperately trying to keep up. I had this mental checklist that society had handed me: climb the corporate ladder, buy the bigger house, accumulate more possessions, achieve the next milestone, and then the next one. I believed that happiness was always just one promotion away, one purchase away, one achievement away. I was living in a constant state of tomorrow, always chasing the next thing that would finally make me feel complete. But here's what I wish I had known then, what I would whisper urgently to that younger version of myself: the one thing that matters more than anything else is not what you accomplish or what you acquire. It's learning to be fully present in the life you're already living. It's understanding that this moment, right here, right now, is not a dress rehearsal for the real thing. This is the real thing. You see, I spent decades believing that my worth was tied to my productivity, to my achievements, to how busy I could make myself appear. I wore exhaustion like a badge of honor. I missed sunsets because I was answering emails. I rushed through dinners because I had calls to make. I postponed conversations with loved ones because there would always be more time later. I lived as if life was an endless resource, as if I could spend my present moments freely because there would always be more coming. The irony is crushing when I look back now. All those things I was chasing, all those goals I was pursuing, they were supposed to make my life better. But in the pursuit of them, I was missing the very life I was trying to improve. I was like a person so focused on reaching the destination that they never noticed the journey, never saw the landscapes passing by, never felt the wind on their face or heard the music playing softly in the background. I remember the exact moment this hit me. I was 58, sitting in my office late on a Thursday evening. The building was empty, the cleaning crew had long gone home, and I was still there, still grinding away at something that felt urgent but, in hindsight, was completely forgettable. My phone buzzed with a text from my daughter. She was sharing a photo of her newborn baby, my first grandchild, taking his first bath. And as I looked at that tiny, perfect human being, I realized I had spent 30 years of my life waiting for the right moment to truly live, and all those right moments had been happening all along. That night, I made a decision that would change everything. I decided to stop living in the future and start living in the present. But let me be clear, this wasn't some overnight transformation. Learning to be present is like learning a new language when you've been speaking another one for decades. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to fail and try again. The first thing I had to unlearn was the myth of multitasking. For years, I had prided myself on being able to juggle multiple things at once. I could eat lunch while checking emails, while planning my afternoon, while thinking about weekend projects. But what I discovered was that when you're doing everything at once, you're not really doing anything at all. You're just skimming the surface of life, never diving deep enough to feel its richness. So I started small. I began eating my breakfast without reading the news. I know it sounds trivial, but when you've spent years consuming information while consuming food, the simple act of tasting your coffee, really tasting it, feeling its warmth, appreciating its aroma, becomes almost revolutionary. That first morning, I noticed things I had never noticed before. The way the steam rose from my cup, the sound of birds outside my window, the feeling of the morning sun streaming through the kitchen blinds. From there, I expanded this practice to other areas of my life. I started taking walks without podcasts or phone calls. Just me, my thoughts, and the world around me. I began having conversations without thinking about what I would say next, really listening to what the other person was sharing. I started reading books not to finish them quickly, but to savor them, to let the words sink in and marinate in my mind. But perhaps the most profound change came in how I approached my relationships. When you're constantly living in the future, you treat the people in your life as supporting characters in the story of your achievements. Your spouse becomes someone who helps manage the logistics of your busy life. Your children become items on your to-do list, people you need to check in with, provide for, but not necessarily be present with. Your friends become networking opportunities or stress relief outlets. When I started practicing presence, I began to see the people in my life as they really were, complex, beautiful, finite human beings who were sharing their precious time with me. I stopped seeing my wife as my domestic partner and started seeing her as the remarkable woman who had chosen to build a life with me. I stopped seeing my children as responsibilities and started seeing them as individuals with their own dreams, fears, and wisdom to offer. The change in my relationships was immediate and profound. When you give someone your full attention, when you look them in the eyes and really listen to what they're saying, something magical happens. They feel seen, valued, heard. And in return, they open up to you in ways they never have before. Conversations become deeper. Connections become stronger. Love becomes richer. I think about all the moments I missed in those earlier decades. The times my son tried to tell me about his day while I was half listening, half thinking about work. The evenings my wife wanted to share something important while I was mentally planning the next day's schedule. The family dinners where I was physically present but emotionally absent, my mind already racing ahead to the next item on my agenda. Those moments are gone forever. I can't get them back. But what I can do is honor their memory by being fully present for all the moments that remain. And here's what I've discovered. When you start living in the present, you realize that life isn't actually as short as you thought. It's just that we spend so much time not paying attention that we miss most of it. Think about it. How many times have you driven somewhere and arrived with no memory of the journey? How many meals have you eaten while thinking about something else entirely? How many conversations have you had where you were formulating your response instead of listening to what was being said? We sleepwalk through so much of our lives, it's no wonder we feel like time is flying by. But when you're truly present, time has a different quality. Minutes feel longer. Colors seem brighter. Flavors are more intense. Emotions are deeper. You start to notice the small miracles that happen every day. The way your spouse's face lights up when they laugh. The sound of rain on the roof. The feeling of your pet's contentment when they're curled up next to you. The satisfaction of completing a simple task mindfully and well. This isn't about meditation or spirituality, though it can include those things if they resonate with you. This is about waking up to the life you're already living. It's about recognizing that every ordinary moment contains extraordinary beauty if you're paying attention. It's about understanding that happiness isn't a destination you reach after checking off enough boxes. It's a way of traveling through life, a quality of attention you bring to whatever you're doing. I wish I could tell you that once I learned this lesson, everything became perfect. But that's not how life works. I still face challenges. I still have difficult days. I still worry about the future and sometimes regret things from the past. The difference is that now I don't let those feelings hijack my entire experience. I feel them, acknowledge them, and then return to the present moment, where life is actually happening. What I've gained from this shift is immeasurable. I've deepened my relationships. I've found joy in simple pleasures. I've developed a sense of gratitude that colors everything I do. I've learned to appreciate my body for what it can do rather than criticizing it for what it can't. I've discovered that wisdom doesn't come from accumulating more experiences, but from paying closer attention to the experiences you're already having. If you're in your 30s or 40s right now, you might be thinking this is easier said than done. You have mortgages to pay, children to raise, careers to build. But that's exactly why this matters so much. Those responsibilities aren't keeping you from living your life. They are your life. The question is whether you're going to sleepwalk through them or show up fully for them. Your children don't need a perfect parent. They need a present parent. Your spouse doesn't need someone who can do 10 things at once. They need someone who can do one thing with complete attention. Love them in this moment. Your work doesn't need someone who's constantly stressed about the future. It needs someone who can bring their full creativity and focus to the task at hand. And if you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, you might be thinking it's too late to change. But that's not true either. Every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is a fresh start. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but this moment, right now, is yours. You can choose to be fully present for it. I think about the people I've known who lived this way naturally, and they were always the ones who seemed most alive, most content, most at peace. They weren't necessarily the most successful by conventional standards, but they had something that all the achievement in the world couldn't buy. They were genuinely happy to be alive. There's a quote that has stayed with me: "Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift." That's why they call it the present. It sounds simple, even cliched, but it contains a profound truth. This moment is literally a present, a gift that life is offering you right now. The question is whether you're going to unwrap it and appreciate it, or leave it sitting there while you think about other things. So here's what I would tell my 30-year-old self, and what I'm telling you right now: slow down. Look around. Pay attention. The life you're looking for isn't waiting for you in the future. It's happening right now, in this moment, in the space between your inhale and your exhale, in the feeling of your feet on the ground, in the sound of these words reaching your ears. Stop waiting for permission to be happy. Stop thinking you need to earn the right to enjoy your life. Stop believing that you'll appreciate what you have once you get what you want. Start appreciating what you have right now, because this is what you wanted at some point. This life, with all its imperfections and complications, is exactly what you once hoped for. The greatest tragedy isn't that life is short. It's that we spend so much of it not paying attention. But the greatest miracle is that at any moment, with any breath, you can wake up. You can choose presence over productivity, being over doing, love over achievement. That's the one thing I wish I had known at 30. That's the gift I want to give you today. Your life is happening right now. Don't miss it. If this message found you today, it wasn't by accident. Perhaps you're exactly where you need to be to hear these words. Your story isn't over, your best chapters might still be unwritten, and your capacity to experience joy, love, and wonder is as limitless today as it was when you were young. The only difference is that now you have the wisdom to recognize these gifts when they appear. Don't let another day slip by in the waiting room of your own life. Step into the present moment. It's been patiently waiting for you all along. What resonated most with you from today's message? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your wisdom and experiences help create a community where we all learn from each other. If this video touched your heart or opened your eyes to something new, please consider subscribing to join our growing family of viewers who believe that life's greatest lessons often come wrapped in the simplest truths. Thank you for spending these precious minutes of your life with me today.